discuss it further with me, I'll be glad to discuss it with you. All right. The point is that this static, babbling, untranslatable utterance is not so. And there are certainly, but now, by the way, there are certainly those kinds of tongues out there, and that phenomena is undeniably present in our world today. In fact, you can speak in tongues if you're a Hindu. You can speak in tongues if you are an Eastern mystic. You can speak in tongues if you practice shamanism, or if you practice voodoo in Haiti. They all contain elements of these ecstatic utterances. But you cannot speak in a foreign language that you have never studied and that is translatable and give praise to God unless you're doing it by the Spirit of God. Okay? That was what was distinct about the gift of tongues in the early church. It wasn't some babbling, it was a language that the speaker had never studied before and yet was able to speak that language. By the way, I do recognize there are some, and perhaps some of you folks are that way, gifted that way. I've met some folks that just do not speak in any babbling, but have a great ability to learn foreign languages. There are some people that know 2, 3, 4 foreign languages and are able to cope with it. But that is not a gift of a foreign language. It's just an ability. I think they're gifted with that ability to learn.
Our first lady knows what
Yeah,
is it,
she
4
knows five.
Yeah.
or 5 languages?
Yeah, she's a smart
Well, I worked with a woman from Italy, and she knew 5, but she said she picked it up from the
Yeah.
countries around her when she was young,
Yeah.
but she could speak them fluently.
Our little kids, when we were in Peru 100 years ago, they were, how old were they? 4 and 6. And they picked up guttural Spanish from the maids faster than we were learning it from formal Spanish training. And she would take the kids with her to the market to buy groceries. And it worked. Now, it's the grace gift ability from the Holy Spirit to verbalize a translatable language previously foreign to the speaker. Its purpose, and we're going to get to this more later, but its purpose was judgmental in nature. Okay? The speaking in tongues was judgmental, and we'll talk about that probably next week. Now, there's a third gift, the interpretation of tongues. Chapter 14, this is the gift of interpretation. Notice at the end of verse 5, he who prophesies is greater than one who speaks in tongues, unless he interprets so that the church may be edified. So why was the gift of interpretation given? Why all gifts were given, actually. For the edification of the church, for the building up of the church. I'm treading on thin ice here, and I don't want to be offensive, but most of the tongue speaking interpretation that I have heard in my limited experience has been to edify the individual. That they become something special. No gift.
That's what verse 4 says.
Yeah. So, here's the definition. Well, he who prophesies is greater than one who speaks in tongues. Verse 13. And for this reason, anyone who speaks in a tongue should pray that he might interpret what he said. The third term is defined as this is a grace gift ability from the Spirit to understand and translate a language or the message of the one speaking in a foreign language. Tom would get up and speak to us in Spanish, and one of us, other than the sisters, would say, oh yeah, he said. I don't know Spanish. But God would give me, because his Spanish is pretty hard to understand anyway. I would stand up and I would interpret that by a God-given gift for that. I didn't know the language. Again, by a person who has never studied the language, but who was supernaturally enabled by the Holy Spirit to understand the language for the first time and deliver a message. Now, this was a message for unbelievers primarily and for believers secondarily. Now, those three terms, again, if you get them down, prophesying, the ability to speak a message from God about the future, and this message from God, or an immediate situation. Tongues, the ability to give a message from God in a language you never studied before. And three, interpretation of tongues, the ability to interpret and translate the message spoken in a foreign tongue. Now, with those biblical definitions in mind, we're going to stop here.